This is it, the Hirsch family Model 1 Sega Genesis with high definition graphics, a volume knob, reset button, on and off switch, and stereo output for amazing stereo sound. The 3-button games will be played with the original 3-button controller. The 6-button games will be played with a 6-button controller. Pick up a Pepsi because Kevin Hirsch drinks Pepsi. One Kevin Hirsch Pepsi. I'm ready to get in the zone, like DZ Discovery Zone or Ultra Zone Laser Tag. All right, here we go. We're starting off. I'm not even going to call this a video. This is an event in which we are celebrating the Hirsch family Sega Genesis, which I believe to be the first Genesis that I ever played in my life. It might have been at Sean Hirsch's 3rd grade birthday party. He was born 6 days after me. Everybody called video games Nintendo before the Sega Genesis came along. No one knew what the Atari was. It was Nintendo games. That's what you don't play video games, you play Nintendo games. But Kevin Hirsch had something else in mind. He was ready for the next generation, the next evolution in video gaming. So he was an early adopter of the Sega Genesis. That's why he has the Model 1. And his Model 1 was not even bundled with this game, Sonic the Hedgehog, for a coupon to mail in a copy of it. But the game it came packed with was the next game on our list, Altered Beast. I'm only playing one level of Sonic, just to give a little background story. I had seen Sonic the Hedgehog at some kid's house when I was like, I ran in and out of the house and I saw him playing it on the TV. And I wanted to play Sonic the Hedgehog. It was this new thing, this Genesis. Was it called the Sega or was it called the Genesis? I don't know. But all of a sudden, I think I'm at Sean Hirsch's 9th birthday. And there it is, just waiting for me, and only me, because other kids are doing other stuff. And I get to explore this collection of games. I finally get to play Sonic the Hedgehog. But then I pick up a game that confused and frightened me. And that game is called Altered Beast. Okay, so my friend Mark Sorreo had a game called Bible Games. And they were like games based on the Bible, like Noah's Ark and stuff like this. So when I first played this game, I discovered in the Hirsch family Sega Genesis collection, I saw this opening scene here. I thought, is this like a Bible game? Did God just raise Jesus from the grave? So I'm playing and I'm like, I don't remember Jesus fighting zombies. And then I kept going and I say, I don't remember Jesus being a muscle man. So I keep going. I'm confused. There's a graveyard. There's zombies. They're kind of coming apart when you You keep becoming a bigger and bigger muscle man, and I'm starting to think this game is not of God. This game is something else. And then I saw that, and I'm very frightened. I've never seen anything like it before. I guess it's a bit of culture shock from Japanese culture, where they mostly practice Shendo and Buddhism. And from what I understand, this game was based on Greek mythology. So the bearded god in the sky at the beginning of the game was Zeus. But it didn't change the fact that I found this game extremely frightening, yet very alluring. And I drank my Pepsi, and I kept playing. These little scenes are frightening too. Sean Hirsch had some great birthday parties. The best one that I can think of was, I believe, maybe 6th or 7th grade. And the theme of the party was they had whipped cream. They had eggs. It was sort of a whipped cream and egg fight. And being the young psychopath that I was, I was very excited at this prospect. And when you talk about what's right and wrong, and when you talk about what's the rules, when I was a kid, I didn't really think about right and wrong. I thought about, am I going to get in trouble for breaking the rules or not? And technically, it was okay in the rules to throw an egg at full velocity right in the back of the head of David Mantrek. And it hurt him. I heard that egg explode, and he couldn't believe that I did it. And I said, that they said that's what we're allowed to do. Blew some whipped cream, got in people's eyes. The whole party was just off the chain. Hakeem Davis's dad was there to monitor it all, but he didn't even step in when things got completely out of control. Us kids just took that opportunity. It was like Lord of the Flies out there. Next thing you know, Kyle Whalen jumping on the trampoline with Anthony Romano. And Anthony Romano did what we used to call a butt bomb, where you jump up real high in the air on the trampoline, and you land on your butt, and whoever else is on the trampoline, 9 times out of 10 are going to get launched off the trampoline by the velocity of the butt bomb. Kyle Whalen was launched off the trampoline by the velocity of Anthony Romano's butt bomb. He was a chubby kid at the time. Not fat, but he had some chub. Next thing I know, Kyle Whalen's like, he's not crying. He's kind of shivering and like gripping himself with his arms crossed. Turns out, he broke his shoulder from the butt bomb launch because he had a tumor in his bone that was like a hollow hole in his bone. So the chaos of that party actually paid off, because he was able to discover it was a benign tumor, but it could have turned malignant. They caught it early, and that's when the party just went completely over the edge. People said I had crazy parties, but it was nothing compared to that. It was either 5th, 6th, or 7th grade party at Sean Hirsch's house. I'm sure we played some Sega. Because that's what we did back then. But most of the time was spent being violent. Chaos ensued. As you can see now, I've turned into a bear. An altered beast, you turn into all kinds of different beasts. I'm not going to play through the whole game. This is the last level I'll be playing through, because we got a lot of games to go through tonight. Because we're going to try and cover all the games in the Sean Hirsch Sega collection that I can think of. So we've done Sonic, we've done Altered Beast. We got to get Mortal Kombat 1. First Mortal Kombat that I saw with blood, because I had the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat. Welcome to your doom. And I didn't have blood, but Sean Hirsch, he had that Super Nintendo he had that Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat with the blood code. And I finally got to experience Mortal Kombat the way Ed Boon and John Tobias intended it to be. Where a 9-year-old can rip someone's head off. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, here it is. My first chance of seeing real Mortal Kombat at the Hirsch household. Hirsches are a good Christian family. That's why I believed Altered Beast to be a Christian game when I first saw it. But ABACABB. ABACABB. What the hell? Okay, I'm going to have to restart this. As I was saying, the Hirsches are a good Christian household, but they never tried to micromanage what their kids watched. We watched a lot of good horror movies there. ABACABB. 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 Alright, I'm going to have to play the Sega CD version of Mortal Kombat, because it's the same as Mortal Kombat Genesis. Graphically, has a few extra sounds in it, a few extra lines, but you don't have to put in the blood code. It's MA17. Right. The Hirsches didn't have a Sega CD. Actually, no one did. I played Mortal Kombat Sega CD when I rented it from Blockbuster one time, but no kids I knew growing up had this particular copy of Mortal Kombat. But as I said, it's very similar to just the regular Sega Genesis version. It has a few extra bells and whistles, and it has what you're about to see, the Mortal Kombat music video, which is basically just a commercial for the Mortal Monday campaign. But remember at the time seeing this, it blew my mind. It's a CD quality sound. So he was like, when it was Mortal Kombat, Mortal Monday, kids were just in the streets, you know. They're all going to get Mortal Kombat. We all ran like that to the store as fast as we could, get Mortal Kombat. Actually, just kidding. I just went home one day and it was around my birthday, and so I had Mortal Kombat for Super Nintendo. And I looked up everywhere, and on my Game Player, Game Pro, Electronics Gaming Monthly, is there a blood code for the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat? And there wasn't. It was just sweat. And I remember Tony Stickler coming up to me, calling me on the phone, saying, "What's the blood code for Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat?" I said, "I'm sorry, there isn't one." So I was lucky enough to have a friend, Sean Hirsch, go to his house, get to see Mortal Kombat the way it was intended to be. So let's get started. Let's talk about a crime in the Hirsch household that I was blamed for. I'm sure I'm still being blamed for it to this day. One night, we were spending the night at the Hirsch residence, and we're all eating maraschino cherries. Mom, Dad, everybody. Ryan, Derek, Sean, me. We're passing around these maraschino cherries. And I look down and I notice my hands are bleeding. And then I ask everybody else, "Are your hands bleeding?" And the maraschino cherries, the top of the jar, the glass had been shaved off a little bit and it was cutting all of our hands. So I knew it was going to be a weird night. But sometime in the events of that evening, I go into the bathroom to go pee. And this is when the false accusation begins. I noticed in the toilet what I called at the time poop dust. It looked like just remnants of poop at the bottom of the toilet. Thinking back now, I realized probably someone took a huge poop, and here we go. That's what we're all talking about right there. That's it right there. That's what we're going for. Someone took a huge poop and flushed it, but the poop clogged the toilet. And it wasn't me. All I did was pee. I peed on top of that poop dust and flushed the toilet like a normal person. We all go into the family room, watch a movie. Something, we're distracted. Me and the Hirsch family. And next thing I know, I go back to the bathroom. Must have been drinking a lot of Pepsi, because I went back to the bathroom a few hours later to go pee, and I realized the carpet was wet. My feet were wet. The toilet had flooded the entire right side of their house. Left side of their house if you're looking from the street. The toilet had overflowed. to catastrophic to a catastrophic extent. We're talking serious damage here. They probably had to call in some company to clean up the disaster area that poop dust had caused. And they all blamed it on me. I swear on my life, I did not clog that toilet. There was a toy box in the living room, or in the hallway past the living room, next to the bathroom where the toilet flooded, full of action figures of every cartoon you could ever possibly think of, gathered through all the years. But because of that toilet flooding, that toy box forever had a mildew smell. And one day when we were a little bit older, maybe middle school, I had been taking some golfing lessons, and Sean had a pretty good drive. And somehow we decided that it would be fun to get those mildewy toys, action figures, and just go one after another, hitting them with a golf club so they exploded into a million pieces. It may seem like wanton destruction, which it was, but sometimes wanton, just careless destruction for the sake of just destruction can be the most liberating thing you could ever experience. To this day, hitting those action figures with those golf clubs was one of the best experiences of my life. And who knows, those if you would have held on to those action figures, some of them might have been worth some money at this point. I don't remember any Star Wars or He-Man action figures. But they could have had a commercial value at some point. But Sean told me that a few years ago, when his parents were moving out of the childhood home, he was looking through the yard, and he actually found a piece of an action figure in the yard. It was still there after 25 years or something like that. That was great to hear. That they still, a memory of that amazing time still stood there to this day. They lived at 1420 Clarion Drive, and that's where all the fun happened. The Hirsch house. Oh no, I missed the pit. And the pit's the best part because the Sega CD pit has heads at the bottom of it. Let's see if we can get back to it. I'm just going to restart the game so I can just do the finishing move at the pit. All right, we're back at the pit. I picked Scorpion because he's my best character. But yeah, I couldn't in good conscience play through this without the viewers seeing this. Look, there's heads, there's bodies, there's everything. That's not in any other version of Mortal Kombat. If you want to see something good, sometimes you got to just wait. And that's Sean Hirsch is one of his favorite things to say, just wait. So Ready for the next game? Just what? All right, everybody who had a video game system when they were younger, maybe a relative, a family friend, somebody, they picked him up a game not knowing anything about it. Maybe it was on clearance, maybe it was in the used video game section of Blockbuster, but everybody had a game that people wondered, why do they have this game? And for the Hirsch family Sega Genesis, that game is New Escape, based on the Ray Liotta film of the same name. It's sort of like a Prince of Persia style game, like a rotoscoped moving character. But every time, me and my friend Scott Giacomin saw that Sean Hirsch had No Escape, we just got a real big kick out of it. We still do to this day, talking about why did Sean have No Escape on his Genesis? Who picked up No Escape for the Hirsch family Genesis? Most of the games on the Hirsch family Genesis are AAA titles. This game, very difficult, confusing. I don't think I've ever even made it past the first level of it. But it wouldn't be the Hirsch family Sega collection without No Escape. That's just anybody from Bloomingdale East neighborhood, they'll let you know about that. They'll let you know that's the case. And as you can see, to be perfectly frank, I have to say this game sucks. But it'll always have a special place in my heart. It'll always give me a reason to laugh. It's No Escape. There's no escape from the Hirsch family Model 1 Genesis from No Escape. Heard through the grapevine. I think this is the farthest I've ever gotten in No Escape. I think the key is just to keep running. Even though there is no escape, you just keep going. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea what to do right now. This is... What the hell? There's the guy from Alien. Near Dark. Looks like I'll buy that from him. Okay, I just accidentally hit the... It's enough No Escape. Okay. Ryan Hirsch is 1 year older than Sean Hirsch. So he it's more of an 80s kid than us 90s kids. So the difference between the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis is that the Super Nintendo came out in 1991. The Sega Genesis came out in 1989. And I remember running across this game, Golden Axe. The game the one I'm currently playing has a special arranged soundtrack. But I just felt like this game screamed 80s to me. It's like an 80s game, like Dungeons and Dragons, was real big in the 80s, like the sword and sandal aesthetic. And it was just another curiosity of the Hirsch family Sega Genesis collection. But it played a vital part in it. It is a great game. There's no denying it. It's a classic beat 'em up. And I had a lot of fun times playing this at the Hirsch household. You ride on these little bird things, and people. This is gone down in history as a classic Sega game. It's almost synonymous with the Sega Genesis. So it makes sense why the Hirsch family had it, and I believe Ryan probably picked this one up. Probably his friends at school told him about it. Because this is a must-have game. 2-player co-op. And we had a lot of fun with it playing 2 players at 1420 Clarion. I just thought of a story about 1420 Clarion Drive. It didn't involve me. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of shenanigans went on the Hirsch family trampoline. It was overlooking Nature's Way. They lived on the side of the street, Bloomingdale East. It had what they called, it was just called the Wall. And it was a wall, like of cement blocks, separating the backyard from Nature's Way. I mean, you just had to get on the trampoline, and you had a full view of Nature's Way, which is the street encircling the Bloomingdale East neighborhood. First thing the Clarion crew did was gathered a bunch of different animal poop. I think mostly dog poop, probably from the dog Ooga Booga, the Hirsch family dog. And they lined up the poop across Nature's Way and made like a poop line, and watched the cars run over the poop one at a time. And you know, that sounds like enough fun on its own. I just wasted my special. But everyone decided, and once again, I had nothing to do with this. Everybody had a paintball gun at one time. And I believe it was done with a Spider paintball gun, kind of where you buy the refillable canteens to power the propulsion agent with a paintball gun. They, one of the boys shot a moving car with the paintball gun and made a big dent in it. The driver of the car was somehow able to figure out, going from Nature's Way to Clarion, which house it was that shot their car. And to teach them a lesson, they were forced to pay for the repair of the car. Very glad that I wasn't involved in that mischievous incident. I was involved in a lot of mischievous incidents at Clarion Drive. But that one I sat out on. But I'm glad I didn't have to deal with the stress of pooling together money to pay for this dented car. But on that note, I think it's time to move on to the next game. All right, this is the last of the Hirsch family games. I was so excited to see that the Hirsch family Model 1 Sega Genesis had a copy of X-Men. Because I was a huge X-Men fan. And I would see commercials for the Sega Genesis X-Men game. And I wanted to play it so bad. But I didn't know how I was going to get my hands on it. I had a Super Nintendo. I didn't have a Sega. But when I discovered the Hirsch family Model 1 Sega Genesis, I finally got my my wish to play the X-Men game. And I was able to see, that it's really not that good of a game. It has great graphics. And some X-Men games came out on the Super Nintendo later. A little bit better than this, but still bad. I'd say the best X-Men game that I've played is the X-Men Wolverine movie game on the PlayStation 3. It has blood, and gore, and dismemberment and everything like that. So everything a Wolverine game should be. But this game, you can't even take out your claws without the special meter going down, and you can't use your claws anymore. And I don't think, I'm not totally against jungle levels in games, but why start off on a jungle level in a game, I think they should have started off fighting some sentinels or some of the evil mutants, but I think this is in the holodecks training area at the Mutant Academy. This isn't even real. This is all holograms and stuff. It's in a pretend jungle training area. But that's about as much as I have to say of this game. It's about as much as I ever played this game, and about as much as I played when I first played this game. But it was great to scratch that itch on the Hirsch family Model 1 Sega Genesis, and realize having a Super Nintendo, I wasn't really missing out that much as far as the X-Men world goes. Never forget, Michael Wiesenhart steals X-Men cards. Thank you. I'm ashamed to say this. I don't really remember if the Hirsch family Sega Genesis had Mortal Kombat 3 or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, but I could be wrong. I didn't like Mortal Kombat 3 when it came out. I don't like the mannequin-looking body parts. I don't like the fatalities. I don't like the combo system. So I never picked up a copy of Mortal Kombat 3, and I was a die-hard Mortal Kombat 2 fan. I played that game. It's been on my channel before. I played that game to the point where it became an extension of my body. But I like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 better than Mortal Kombat 3 just for this reason right here, is that Stryker has a gun that he can shoot. So you can shoot a gun in Mortal Kombat. I don't have any of the fatalities memorized. I'm only going to play one round. but I know this was part of the Hirsch family Sega Genesis collection, so it had to be included. I had to include it in this program. And this is going to wrap things up for the Hirsch family Model 2, or I'm already thinking ahead to the Scott Giacomin family Sega Genesis Model 2, which I'll be making a video of tomorrow. The Hirsch family Model 1 Sega Genesis. These are all the games me and Scott Giacomin could remember that they had in our childhood and our youth. Yeah, I gotta say, great memories were made on the Hirsch family Model 1 Sega Genesis, and just because I can, I'm throwing in a bonus game in the notion of first time Sega experiences. I'm throwing in Rastan on the Sega Master System, introduced to me by me and Sean Hirsch's friend Davíd Rodriguez. Okay, yeah, Davíd Rodriguez, he loved Sega too. And one time we were at soccer practice, and he told me he has this thing called the Sega Master System that came out before the Sega Genesis. I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. But he had this game right here. I believe it was on a little card. It wasn't even on a cartridge. It's called Rastan. And as you can see, when you slash the guys with the knife, when you slash the guys with your weapon, it makes blood. I couldn't believe the game that came out so long ago had blood. And I said, this game has blood, Davíd Rodriguez. And he said, of course it has blood. It's Sega. And that's what I'll conclude this video by saying, is that that's the spirit of Sega. That's the legacy of Sega. It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit controversial. It's a little bit dangerous. That's what we love about it. And I'll be back with part 2 with this Giacomin family Model 2 Sega Genesis 32X combo. Hope you enjoyed watching this event. As much fun as I had making it. Have a great night. Bye-bye.